thank you for joining us today for our interviews research here. And to getting started, can you please tell us about yourself, like what your names, your positions, your age, and what you do right now?
Okay, well, my name is Peter. I'm a teacher here at Raja Mongkol University of Technology. I've been teaching in Thailand for quite some time, approximately 9 to 10 years.
Oh, it's quite a lot, 9
Yeah,
to 10 years.
yeah, I've been teaching English, and then my main subject
Yes.
is math
Maths.
and finance.
Finance.
So yeah, I teach a little bit of math, a little bit of finance, English sometimes for vocational students. I'm 32 years old.
Yeah.
I came here originally to study my master's degree, and now I'm pursuing my PhD degree. And teaching is something I love. My dad was a teacher.
Yeah.
So I feel like, yeah,
your dad is a teacher.
yeah, he was a teacher. Yeah, while he was alive. So I've been a teacher in Thailand for, like I told you, 9 to 10 years. And that has just been it. I've been teaching in secondary schools, and I moved here to teach here at Raja Mongkol a few years ago, like 3 or 4 years ago. So yeah, teaching is something I love, and especially teaching Thai students. So it's quite a new experience for me.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Yep. Do you have any class that you have experience and you feel that you are very impressive about the classes that is like you're very happy that this class is the it's wonderful, it's like giving for like very kind and how like do you have that kind of class like from part of your experience before?
Yes, I've had that kind of class, especially in the BBA program.
BBA program.
I think the reason is because it's a mixture of different cultures.
Yes.
And a mixture of different students, from the Bhutanese students, and then I have the Thai students, then
Yes.
a couple of, this class was quite interesting because I asked them, because when I got into the class, I realized that the Bhutanese students were sitting on one side of the class, and
Yes.
the Thai students were sitting on the other. So
Yes.
once I said they should be able to sit together,
Yeah. Yes.
I did a mix up in class, and I said, okay, you have to sit with the Bhutanese students.
Yeah.
You have to try to talk with them in class.
Yes.
After which, I realized that conversation now was not horizontal anymore. It was not between the students and the teacher. It was horizontal anyway. So it was like the students could speak to each other rather than just looking at the teacher and then try to talk to the teacher. So, like briefly, vertical conversation is when you're trying to talk to someone up there or someone down there, right?
Yes.
So when the students are trying to talk to the teacher, sometimes they feel shy.
Yes.
But when it
That's
becomes
right.
talking with a friend,
Yeah.
they become so relaxed.
Yes.
They want to express themselves. And then with Bhutanese students now, they can't speak Thai.
Yeah.
The Bhutanese students too can't speak any other language except English, because that's what both of them
Yeah.
can use as a medium of communication. So yeah, teaching it's something that you have to love
Yes.
to be able to transmit knowledge. You can be the smartest person in the world,
Yes.
but there is something we call impartation. Impartation means how to pass knowledge, how to
Yeah.
tell someone something for them to understand.
Yes.
So I have love for this profession. I have love for teaching. So how do I prepare my lessons? I try as much as possible to know what I'm going to teach my students
Yes.
before even getting into class. There are so many strategies that I use, but the best is I'm lucky to have one other foreign teacher here. He's
Yes.
Hooker, and so many other Thai teachers who speak English.
Yes.
I try sometimes to practice what I have to teach with the students, with the teachers. But I can't tell them, oh, this is what I have to teach my students, that's why I'm practicing with you now.
How can you practice them with the listening skill, reading skill, writing skill, and speaking skill? Do you think like what we can use to like the practice to make them more understand how to improve their skill like in each like we have full skill
Good. Okay.
to to speak English fluency, but how can we develop or practice to improve those kind of skills? What you like?
Yeah,
Share with us.
like an analogy,
Yes.
like a small story. If you're sick,
Yes.
you go to the hospital
Yes.
and you see the doctor, and the doctor diagnoses
Yes.
the problem, it's like 50% of the solution already.
Yes.
But if the doctor doesn't know what you're sick of,
Yes.
it's a problem. You can't solve
Yeah,
a problem.
yeah, that's
You
right,
can't solve a
that's
problem if you don't know
Yes.
what the problem is.
Yes.
So diagnosis is a very important thing. These are 4 skills in English.
Yes.
Or every language, you have these 4 skills.
That's right. That's right.
But sometimes people are tempted to always say listening and speaking, they go together.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah.
And then they say writing and reading, they go together.
Yeah.
But I always like to swap it a little bit. I like to say, okay, to be a smart person,
Yes.
it's 1% of what you take in and 99% of what you say
Yes.
or what you give out. So the output is very important.
Yes.
So I like to think about instead speaking
Speaking.
and writing.
Yes.
If you speak, people hear or listen. If you write, people can read.
Yes.
On the other hand,
Yeah.
we have listening
Yes.
and we have the last one, which is reading.
Yeah.
I think for these 4 skills, we need 4 different strategies
Yes.
and
That's
sub-strategies too.
Yes.
For example, listening. I don't want us to blame the students a lot.
Yes.
It's slow, but that's fine. If there is a city in Mexico, they call Tijuana.
Pardon?
A city in Mexico, Tijuana.
Sijuana.
Yeah, Tijuana. It's close to the U.S.
Yes.
Right? Mexicans speak Spanish,
Mm.
but they are close to the U.S. than Thailand.
Yes.
But in this city, people don't speak English.
Oh.
Go there, they speak only Spanish. They don't understand English. You say anything in English, they say Google Translation and show them. Let them see that. So I think they are close to the U.S., but they are not interested in the language. They don't see the importance.
Yes.
We can't blame the students that, oh, why are they so slow in the language and so on. It's about personal motivation, right? But then we need good strategies to be able to make the students interested in the language. So I think as a teacher, like I said in the beginning, we need to understand what we're teaching and the students who we're teaching. We are teaching them English as a foreign language. This language is from outside.
Yes, from outside.
It's not English as a second language. Like I said, you go to Australia and you're learning.
Yes.
When you go out of class, you can practice on the streets
Yes.
because you get people speaking in English. But here it's not the same. So one of the strategies I like to think about is the way I was taught when I was young. You see, it's about vocabulary. There is no word in English that you might tell me now that I might not get something figured out. Just because of the fact that when your vocabulary is not limited,
Yes.
if you have a lot of words,
Yes.
you can say one thing in many different ways. So I think it's not only about listening and speaking, listening to things like audio sounds and then try to speak to people, because people use just 5% of vocabulary in English
Yes.
in a day-to-day conversation.
Yeah.
So what I think is we should try to introduce
Yes.
poems,
Forms.
rhymes, poems and rhymes. For example, if you know what is
Yeah,
poem
yeah.
and literature, right?
Yes.
Like novels.
Mm-hmm.
We should try to read these things to students. I always try as much as possible. Some teachers do it differently.
Yeah.